Imagine this. A Roman legion disappears after a brutal battle in the Middle East. Thousands of soldiers vanish from history. But decades later, on the other side of the world, Chinese historians record something strange. Enemy warriors fighting in a formation never seen before in China. A formation that looks exactly like Roman soldiers locking their shields together. Could a lost Roman legion have marched across Asia and ended up fighting in ancient China? This is one of the history's strangest mysteries, the story of the Roman legion that may have reached China. To understand this mystery, we must travel back to 53 BC. The Roman Republic was expanding rapidly, and one of its most powerful men was the Roman general Marcus Licinius Crassus. Crassus was incredibly wealthy and ambitious, but unlike his rivals Julius Caesar and Pompey, he lacked military glory. So he decided to invade the powerful Parthian Empire, located in modern-day Iraq and Iran. It was supposed to be an easy conquest. Instead, it became one of Rome's greatest disasters. At the Battle of Carrhae, Roman legions were surrounded by Parthian horse archers. The Parthians used devastating tactics. They rode in circles along the Roman army, constantly firing arrows. The Romans could not reach them, and slowly the Roman army was destroyed. Crassus himself was killed, and around 10,000 Roman soldiers were captured alive. But this is where the mystery begins, because these prisoners vanished from Roman history. The Parthians had a habit of relocating prisoners instead of killing them. They used them to guard distant frontiers. Some historians believe the captured Roman soldiers were sent far to the east, near the borders of Central Asia, a region filled with steppe tribes and constant warfare. For years, these Roman prisoners may have lived as mercenaries or frontier soldiers, far from home, far from Rome, completely forgotten by the world they once served. But decades later, a strange event occurred in ancient China, and Chinese historians wrote something that would puzzle scholars for centuries. In 36 BC, the Chinese Han Dynasty launched a military campaign against a powerful nomadic leader named Zhizhi Chanyu. This conflict became known as the Battle of Zhizhi. During the battle, Chinese historians recorded something extremely unusual. Among Zhizhi's forces were warriors fighting in a formation described as a fish-scale formation. It was unlike anything Chinese armies had seen before. The soldiers locked their shields together, creating a defensive wall. This description sounds incredibly similar to the Roman testudo formation, a famous Roman tactic where soldiers locked shields to perform a protective barrier. To Roman historians, this formation was common, but in ancient China, it was completely unknown. So where did these mysterious soldiers come from? Some historians believe they may have been the lost Roman prisoners from Carrhae. After the Battle of Zhizhi ended, Chinese records say that captured soldiers were settled in a frontier village. That village was called Liqian. Today, Liqian still exists in Gansu province, China, and it has become famous for one strange reason. Some of its residents have unusual physical features compared to typical East Asian populations. Some villagers have green or hazel eyes, taller noses, light brown hair. For decades, researchers have wondered, could these villagers be descendants of Roman soldiers? In the 1990s, Chinese researchers even conducted DNA studies on some villagers. The results were interesting, but not conclusive. Some people had genetic markers that were not typical for the region. However, they were not clearly Roman either, which means the mystery remains unsolved. But the legend grew stronger. At first, the idea sounds unbelievable. Roman soldiers traveling thousands of kilometers across Asia. But when we look at the ancient world, it seems less impossible. Trade routes already connected Rome and China through the Silk Road. Merchants traveled these routes for centuries. Roman coins have even been discovered in parts of China, and Chinese silk was highly prized in Rome. So the two civilizations were not completely isolated. In fact, both empires knew of each other. The Romans called China Serica, and Chinese historians described an ancient Western empire called Da Qin, which many believed referred to Rome. The idea that a small group of Roman soldiers could have ended up in Central Asia is not impossible, but whether they truly fought in China is still a matter of debate. Many historians remain skeptical of the theory. Some believe the fish scale formation described by Chinese historians may simply have been another Central Asian tactic. Others argue that the physical features of Liqian villagers could have come from different migrations over centuries. After all, Central Asia has been a crossroads of civilization. Persians, Turks, Mongols, and many others passed through the region. So the evidence of a Roman legion in China remains inconclusive. But the story refuses to disappear, because sometimes history hides its greatest secrets in small clues. Somewhere in the deserts of Central Asia, a Roman legion vanished from history. Our Chinese records may have captured the final chapter of their journey. Did these soldiers truly march across Asia and fight in ancient China, or is this just a coincidence that grew into a legend? For more such mysteries, subscribe and follow the Concealed Archive.